It was cold, the kind of cold where you almost feel warm, yet the air brings you goosebumps. My head hung from the window, absorbing the untouched beauty of nature and cleansing my face with the cool air. The sun's rays peeked from behind the pine, creating a warm-looking aurora amongst the sharp and chilling breeze. The smoothing silence was interrupted by the tires on the damp pavement. All that I can truly remember of that moment was the serenity and the peace. We were all together, as a family, on our way through the calming woods. Even though we were all together, we weren't complete. A part of our family was missing, and we were going to fix that part. Our trip had brought us to Sebastopol to bring home a new dog. We rolled up to our destination and slowed down to a stop. We were at the house of the dog breeder. It was a dark wooden house surrounded by a swarm of tall trees. I noticed a few other minivans parked outside the house. We all climbed out, and the pine needles crunched under my first grader toes. I took in a deep breath. We walked through the gate that led into the large side yard. I was immediately greeted by a crowd of puppies, swarming at my feet and yapping about the yard. It was a glorious sight, a crowd of puppies barking and scampering about. I was just a little kid, running amongst a flock of baby dogs. As time passed, the number of puppies decreased, as families would take a new dog home. More and more families came and went, and only a few dogs were left. As I went to sit down, one dog wearing a blue collar ran up to me and sat on my lap and began to lick my face. I petted his head and noticed something strange about his ear. I gently lifted it up and noticed that it had been half missing. The puppy licked my hand. I scratched his furry back. The dog stood out to me. I felt a brotherly connection. I hoisted myself up and strolled over to my parents, and with the blue-collared dog close behind. I told my parents, "I want this one," and looked down at the pup, which prompted a wag of his tail. After some deliberating and the writing of a check, we made our way back to the car, with a new member of the family. I grasped the warm plastic door handle and thrust open the door. I patted the seat of the car and encouraged the pup to hop up into it, but his little baby legs couldn't reach. He put one paw on the car and whined. I hoisted him up onto the gray plastic leather seat. I climbed up in after him, then the rest of the family climbed in, and we went on our way. The way back was swallowed by the commotion of name choosing. Ideas being shouted out filled up the car like a thick smoke. Skipper, Blue, Django, Barksworth, Scooter, Steve. As we glided down the highway, we came across a road sign that said, "Speed limit 60, radar enforced." I then lifted my head from the window and said, "How about radar?"